Hey, welcome into the Stinkin Truth Podcast. Mike Evans alongside Mark Schlereth. I am and I'm in Tampa. My granddaughter's 9th birthday today. Happy birthday, Drewby. I called the game in Washington, D.C., just Landover, Maryland, I guess, and did that yesterday between the Commanders and the Raiders. And here I am in Tampa Bay, Mike. It's great to be with you, buddy. Appreciate you and appreciate all of you subscribing and watching the Stinkin Truth Podcast. Week 3 just about in the books. Monday night tonight, Detroit and Baltimore. Mike, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. We got a lot to talk about, and let's start with the Sunday night game, the Chiefs. I think we're all curious to see on national television what would be the Chiefs' response to starting 0-2. Would they be able to quiet all the critics and doomsayers out there that say the dynasty is over, the run is over, they're not special anymore? Did you see enough out of the Chiefs to make you think, yeah, they're going to end up being okay?
Okay. Yeah, there's a difference between the Chiefs being okay and the Chiefs being the Chiefs. And did I see enough to say, hey, I think the Chiefs are going to be okay? They'll be okay. What does that mean? 8-9, 9-8, maybe 10 games? Yes, maybe somewhere in that realm, but do I think they're going 15-2? Do I think they're going 12 and whatever? No, I don't think so. I couldn't do the math there, Mike. I guess it would be 12-5.
12-5.
Yeah, I mean that's a difficult one. Like once they went to odd number of games, it's really been tough for me. But no, I just don't think, dynamically speaking, I don't think offensive line has played as well as they need to play. A new left side of that offensive line. I've never been a fan of their right tackle and all the, penalties, the procedure penalties, the lining up too far in the backfield penalties, illegal formation. And plus, I think he's just a guy. And so you can overcome having just a guy if you have Travis Kelce playing at an incredibly high level, if you have, Tyreek Hill and other guys playing at incredibly high levels. They just don't have that. Rashee Rice is still going to be out another 3 games. I don't know when Worthy's going to come back. I saw the tete-a-tete on the sideline between head coach Andy Reid and between Travis Kelce. And frankly, Mahomes, I mean, how many plays in a row are you going to throw it behind your back? Or, behind, a backward pass. I don't think Mahomes has played exceptionally well either. Most of that probably due to the personnel and the issues they have around him, Mike. So do I think they'll be better? Yeah, I think they'll be better. Do I think they're going to be a contender? No, I don't believe they're going to be a contender.
Well, as for the Giants, so much, I guess, for that Russell Wilson throwback bounce. That didn't last very long, huh?
Wow. Yeah. And you tried to make me apologize too. Do you feel bad about that?
No, I don't.
You don't feel bad about that? You wanted an apology. Like, oh, did you see Russell Wilson throw it over the top? He had 39 yards at halftime and 2 picks. He looked like, and for all you Giant fans out there and all you Russell Wilson stans out there, isn't it time? Can you finally admit that I was right when I said 8-10 weeks ago, I just dump him and move to Jackson Dart right now? You're 0-3. And let's just let's just clear the elephant out of the room, Mike. You're at 1st and goal from your own, 4-yard line? He throws it 8 miles out of bounds to make it 2nd and goal. Then I think he lowers his head like a fullback with his eyes closed and runs into a design quarterback draw where he doesn't see anything, gets tackled for about a 2-yard gain.
You thought he was Scattaboo.
And then he throws not 1 on 3rd down, but 1 on 4th down as well, out of bounds. And this has that you know what that had written all over it to me?
What?
Legacy.
What do you mean?
I don't want to throw another pick.
Ooh.
I don't want to throw it into traffic. I've already got 2 picks here, and I've got to have great stats by the end of the year because this is about me going to the Hall of Fame. So instead of giving a receiver underneath a chance to catch it, maybe throw it into traffic, somebody to catch it, maybe break a tackle or two, scatterboo, whoever it is, and see if we can get a score out of this. Let me just throw it out of the back of the end zone and preserve the fact that instead of throwing 3 picks or instead of having one batted up in the air or whatever, let me just make sure I don't come away with 3 picks in this game. Dude, hey, man, tell me I'm wrong. How in the world have you played as much football as Russell Wilson has played? How have you played that much football? And on 4th down, your best option is let me chuck one out of the back of the end zone. To do what? Give the ball to that? What are we doing? At the time, you're sitting at, what was the score? 21-9 or 22-9? Whatever it was, I can't remember. What are you doing?
Right.
How are you giving your players an option? 3rd down, throw it underneath. Let one of you guys try to make a tackle or break a tackle. Let somebody scramble in there. Whatever. 4th down. You cannot just throw it away on 4th down. Do you know what the down and distance is? Do you understand the situation of the game? And my argument would be, yeah, you do understand the situation of the game. Mm. And you're more concerned about not throwing another pick than you are about winning a football game. I can't deal with you. I can't have you. You are no longer allowed to play on my team.
So we'll see what happens with the Giants, Jackson Dart. Meanwhile, staying in the NFC East, the Eagles. I know it's cliche, but there's a reason why some cliches are true, and when you talk about heart of a champion or just knowing how to win, I thought that was on full display with the Eagles yesterday. It was a constant uphill grind. The Rams are a good football team, and they were playing a heck of a game, and yet the Eagles just kept coming. They just kept grinding. They just kept playing, and eventually they were able to come back and win. To me, I mean, you want to know why the Eagles are a defending world champion? I'd point to that second half, that 4th quarter as Exhibit A.
Yeah, you have to, and not only that, but getting everybody involved. Got it down the middle for a touchdown. You've got one-on-one with A.J. Brown. Get it to him. Get him the ball. Then all of a sudden, Devontae Smith gets what you were able to do, and then, of course, the block with Davis and the return, just absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. In a game in which you completely got outplayed in, Mike, you found a way to get a victory. And you're right, 100%. That's the mark of a great team. There are going to be times when you line up on Sunday and the other guys are professionals as well, and we always talk about, hey, man, they pay the other guys too and all that stuff, and that's cliche as well. But it's true. And there are those games where you just don't play well as a group, or you get handed, you get it handed to you for a while. And the great teams find a way to be able to overcome those moments and find themselves a win. And that's exactly what the Eagles did. You stay on it, you keep grinding, you don't give up, you start distributing the ball to your playmakers, and those guys start making plays. And that's why the Eagles are world champions. That's why the Eagles are sitting at 3-0 right now. That's why they've won a couple of close games. They won that first close game against Dallas, this one here against the Rams, where they pretty much got outplayed for 3 solid quarters and still found a way to come back and win a football game.
Now, and I know that maybe people don't want to hear about moral victories or good losses and everything. I know you're a believer that some losses can be good.
Yeah.
I came away really impressed by the Rams. I know they didn't win this game, but Rams are good, man. And I think they're the best team in the NFC East, or excuse me, the NFC West. And I feel very comfortable talking about them as a legitimate NFC championship team.
Oh, I don't think there's any question. I mean, as long as, and I said this going in, as long as Matthew Stafford is healthy, they've got an opportunity. But listen, what they've done, the way they've rebuilt their defense, the way they've rebuilt their offensive line, the way they run the football, and then they have Matthew Stafford along with Devontae Adams, along with Puka Nacua, along with the weapons that they have. This is a damn good football team. And, I've said this many times before. In my time with the Broncos, going to Kansas City was the hardest place there was to play. And I think it was the hardest place in the National Football League to play. Just from a crowd noise atmosphere standpoint, it was difficult. And then Marty Schottenheimer, they were a damn good football team, Mike. I mean, they'd punch you in the mouth. They were physical. They had guys like Joe Phillips and Dan Saliamua, and they had, Donnie Edwards. And, I mean, they had defensively, they could flat play. Offensively, they were pretty stacked as well. And I always felt like if you could go into Kansas City, even if you didn't win, but you could play well in Kansas City and bring it right down to the very last drive, like you had a damn good football team if you could go in there and compete well. And even that our first championship run in Denver in 1997, we went out to Kansas City. Gosh, I think we lost a game probably early November, and we lost it on a last-second field goal. And I remember walking out of that stadium or walking back in the locker room after that loss going, we're a damn good football team.
Yeah.
Like, we're a damn good football team. And, I don't ever take pleasure or excitement in a loss. It's not, but it is one of those things where you're like, listen, like I said, we're a damn good football team. And I think that's the feeling. Probably you're disappointed if you're the Rams, but there's that feeling of, shoot, we went in here with the world champions, and they're big and they're physical and they're all that. And we had a dramatic, 2-3 score lead on that team going into that fourth quarter.
I think in Chicago, fans, media, just been constantly looking for signs. Can Caleb Williams be that guy? Can Caleb get things going? Can he have that, breakout game? Did he have that against the Cowboys, or do you have to take into account the quality or lack thereof of the opposition?
I was really happy during the course of that game for Matt Eberflus because he finally got Caleb Williams to reach his potential.
Oh, you hot
So
snot.
good for Matt Eberflus. Congratulations. You finally got exactly what you wanted. That time you spent a year in Chicago with Caleb Williams. You got his best, and good for you. Dallas Cowboys, you guys don't need a pass rusher.
No.
You don't need anybody that can pressure the opponent's quarterback. You guys are fine just the way you are. Have you ever seen anybody give up more explosive plays on the defensive side of the ball than the Dallas Cowboys have over the last 2 weeks? I mean, they're giving up defensive explosive plays like it's their job. I mean, it's just one after the other, after the other, after the other. 20 yards. It's like an episode of Oprah at the end of a Christmas show. You get 20 yards. You get 20 yards. You get 40 yards. You get 40 yards. You get 25 yards. You get 25 yards. You get a 20-yard run. You get a 30-yard pass. You get a 20-yard run. I mean, it is tight end. Why not you? 30 yards down the seam. Good for you. I mean, it is one after the other. After the other, and the Dallas Cowboys, I don't care how good Dak Prescott is or how much shape he has been in and how he looks slender and how he's throwing the ball. And, hey, Javonte Williams is running the ball much better, albeit the turnover on the sideline there early, but he's running the ball. But it does not matter. If you give up explosive plays in Dallas like it's your job, you are not going to win anything. So forget about Micah Parsons. You don't need to pressure the opponent's quarterback. Just give up a bunch of 30-yard explosives, 40-yard explosives, and you guys will be on the outside looking in sooner than shoot. Your season will be all over by Halloween at the rate you're going right now.
So yeah, it was priceless. Jerry Jones after the game comes down and says, "Well, my impressions are 4 is back. 4 is back, which that's great, but we really have to fix our defense."
You think?
No, really?
No, yeah,
like duh.
yeah. You just got rid of one of the greatest defensive players in the league right now.
Yeah.
But we're gonna fix that defense.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, it's not just the pass rush. Obviously, Diggs just is not the same guy he was coming back from that ACL. He has been, I mean, he's been giving up the panties now, one after the other. So I don't know how we're going to get that fixed over there, but boy,
So
that defense looks awful.
Back to Caleb.
Yeah.
So you don't put much stock in this being a turnaround, turn the corner type game?
No, I do, because it was the first time this season where Caleb has played really well, Mike, after the initial first 15 is over, after the scripted plays are over. And, it's really interesting. Like, it's one thing to get guys and scheme guys wide open, like Chicago was able to do at every position, from receiver to receiver to receiver, whether it was a Dunze, whether it was, the tight end Loveland, it didn't matter who it was. Guys were schemed open in this system throughout the entirety of the day. So that was great to see, but you still have to see it and you still have to throw it. And I thought we have talked about Caleb Williams, the footwork, just being on time, shortening up your stride, being underneath yourself. And I thought from, playing from the pocket, watching him operate from the pocket, watching him be on time and accurate from the pocket, and all those deep throws, you still got to recognize them. You still got to understand that we got them. And then you've got to have yourself gathered to make those throws. And I thought he was exceptional in this game. So, yeah, there was a bunch of breakdowns, because that's how Dallas plays defense. They give it up, a bunch of breakdowns. But Caleb was able to take advantage of those, and Caleb looked like he was on time and he was deadly accurate with the football, especially on the deep throws.
Let's stay in the NFC North. Green Bay, the loss wasn't damaging from a standings standpoint at all, but just when it comes to their overall credibility, the eye test, how serious should we take Green Bay? I don't know, coughing up a game like that.
Yeah.
Doesn't that have to make you question, at least for right now, how legitimate they are as a serious contender?
I don't question that. I think that is your prototypical lack of focus letdown game. And, it was really interesting sitting in DC talking to the coaching staff of the Washington Commanders, talking to Cliff Kingsbury, talking to Dan Quinn, talking to the guys on the football team about the Green Bay Packers. And the Green Bay Packers are really freaking good. And they are playing with an unbelievable amount of effort. And I will tell you that Cleveland defensively, Cleveland's a physical football team, and I think Kevin Stefanski's a damn good coach. And listen, man, Joe Flacco's been doing it for a long time. But I think part of that is you felt yourself a little bit. You heard everybody in the nation, myself included, saying you are the best team in football. You have, over the last 2 weeks, been by far the best team in football. And I remember, I just, like Cliff Kingsbury said, man, I have never seen a faster defense. I mean, everywhere. And they knew, he's like, we're sitting at 3rd down and 7, and we can't even get their corners out of a flat foot read. They're sitting at 7 yards depth with their feet planted in the ground, just going to break on in-cutting routes. Because why? Because we know we're going to get there with 4 guys. We know we're going to put so much pressure on your quarterback, he's going to have to get the ball out. So we're just breaking on the underneath stuff, because you don't have time with our pass rush to get the ball downfield. And just the overall speed, athleticism, everything. So there's got to be, and like I said, I know Cleveland is physical, especially on the defensive side of the ball, Mike, but there has got to be that feeling your oats, reading your press clippings, feeling pretty good about where you are, and a little bit of a letdown from the Green Bay Packers.
By the way, staying in Cleveland real quick, Joe Flacco's not the guy. I mean, that's so painfully obvious right now. you might as well give one of the young quarterbacks a chance to play. Is it time for Dylan Gabriel to get his shot with Shedeur Sanders on deck?
You won a game, right?
I don't care.
We won a game. We're not gonna make that move.
I'm not saying right now, but
okay,
isn't it painfully obvious how this thing is trending?
I think, unlike Joe Flacco can play well enough to get you, to keep you in games. So I would say that, eventually it will be time, whether it's Gabriel, whether it's Shedeur, whoever it is, eventually it will be time, because eventually you're going to be on the outside looking in, knowing that you have no way to claw into it. So is that time after next week? Is it after 3 weeks? I don't know when that time is officially, but they'll know, we'll know, everybody will know. And then, one of those young guys is going to get an opportunity.
I just think you owe it to that defense, because that defense plays so hard.
Right.
And even though they were getting no help from the offense, they just kept balling, man. I mean, that defense is legit. And I just think that you owe it to that defense to give them every possible opportunity to succeed this year. And don't hesitate to start going to these different quarterbacks just to see if one of them can give you a spark.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, I think right now you're saying, hey, the guy who gives us the best chance, even though he's 40 years old, but the guy who gives us the best chance to be in these games is Flacco. Now, when we're out of it, I would think that the defense right now, the way they're playing, Mike, the defense isn't going, let's go to a young guy. They're saying, let's stick with a veteran, because at least we've got a chance to win a game. At least we're going to be in these things. So I think ultimately, eventually you'll make that move. But again, if you survey the guys on defense, I bet you 11 out of 11 starters would say, no, we need to stick with Flacco. It gives us the best chance to do what we want to do and win ball games.
Well, no such quarterback issues in Tampa. Baker Mayfield continues to play lights out. And at this stage, we may talk about another quarterback that we could put in this conversation in a second. But at this stage, Baker Mayfield, MVP frontrunner, or at least right there along with the top candidates like a Josh Allen?
Baker Mayfield's got to be in the conversation. I mean, you think about Tampa Bay right now, 3-0. 3 times Baker Mayfield has gotten the ball with about a minute and change left, and 3 times he's driven them down the football field for a victory. 3 for 3. Dude, that is big time. That is how you perform. And there is so much confidence in Baker Mayfield. And I said this, on that what was it, the Monday night game, where I believe that Todd Bowles I believe he let the other team score just to get Baker the ball back and drive the length of the football field and get that touchdown with 6 seconds left. So, I think that's exactly what went down the other night on Monday Night Football. Who was that? Was that Minnesota they were playing in that particular game? So anyhow, it was, maybe
Houston.
Yeah, Houston. Sorry. Incredible. Yeah, because they played Atlanta, then they played Houston, and then yesterday. So, the Jets. But again, unbelievable performance by Baker Mayfield. And oh, by the way, he didn't have his number one guy. He didn't have Mike Evans in the fourth quarter. He went out with a hamstring injury. So then he went, well, where's Ibuka? Let me find that guy. Let me go somewhere else. Let me figure this thing out. So absolutely amazing to be sitting there at 3-0 and having 3 last-minute drives to win a football game. That just goes to show you kind of the competitor that he is and just how ballsy that guy is in general.
Well, how about the balls over opponent rating of Justin Herbert? Your Chargers, who you caught some flack here in the Mile High City because you picked the Chargers to win the West before the season began. You picked the Chargers again on Friday to beat the Broncos, and they did, and they looked good in doing it. They overcame some mistakes. They overcame the injury to Najee Harris. Justin Herbert, made a great play at the end of the game. When we look at the Chargers now and Justin Herbert, does Justin Herbert deserve to be in the MVP conversation?
Yeah, I mean, Justin Herbert's playing great football, and you and I have talked about him, your refusal, and I don't know what he did to you because you hate him. Yeah, you always say he's not great, he's not even good, something like that.
Well,
you
his
said
playoff record, until he gets it done in the playoffs, okay, that's the next hurdle. But there's no doubt he's checking every regular season box. That's for sure. Yeah,
well, he does have to perform in the playoffs, but that is. A lot of that is, I always say, great teams win championships, not just great quarterbacks. You got to have a really good team. Everybody's got to execute. But yeah, I'll give you that. He's got to play better in the playoffs, just like we talked about Lamar having to play better in the playoffs. And I still think John Harbaugh and his staff have to be better in the playoffs when it comes to identity of their football team and all those different things. So yes, I will give you that. But Herbert was great. By the way, on our radio show on Friday, do you remember the score that I picked between the Chargers and the Broncos? What was that score? I can't remember what that was.
That'd be 23-20, Mark, Chargers.
Oh, I did pick it.
It was 23-20.
Yeah, I did pick it 23-20. Huh, weird. But yeah, they're a damn good football team, Mike. They're a big physical football team. Derwin James is incredible. And the Broncos offensively have not figured out kind of who they are. Bo Nix looks frenetic. He missed 3 touchdown passes in that game that would have salted that thing away. He had a long one to Marvin Mims. He missed 2, a long one down one sideline to Marvin Mims, another one down the seam to Marvin Mims that was a touchdown, and maybe it was 3 to Marvin Mims he missed.
No, Sutton was the other one.
Oh, Sutton was the other one that he missed. But he legitimately missed 3 touchdown passes that were all wide open, perfectly designed. And it's really interesting. It depends on kind of where you stand, how the narrative is out there nationally or at least locally with the Denver Broncos, because there are those people who hate Sean Payton, hate that he traded away Russell Wilson, and it's all Sean Payton's fault. This offense sucks, and Sean Payton's terrible, and this, that, and the other. And then there's the reality of it is that, hey, Bo Nix is finally the right guy, but Bo Nix has just been inaccurate underneath and deep. And now we've seen it, Mike. We've seen it with multiple quarterbacks. Michael Penix in his second year, although he didn't play a lot his rookie year, but in his second year, he got benched on Sunday. We have seen it with Bo Nix not playing as well. Jaden Daniels, even though he was 1-1, Jaden Daniels had been off. A bunch of off-target throws. I watched every throw, bunch of off-target throws over the first 2 weeks of the season. He was out with an injury yesterday. We've seen it in Houston. C.J. Stroud. Yep. C.J. Stroud, after that remarkable rookie year, it's kind of leveled itself back out a little bit. So, it's hard to play quarterback in the National Football League. It is hard to be great playing that position. And, there's a reason we talk about sophomore slumps, because it's hard to keep stacking those things on one on top of another.
All right. Good weekend. A lot of good storylines, and we'll have a whole nother week. Some really good matchups. Can't wait to get into this throughout the course of the week.
Yep, and just want to thank and congratulate Matt Eberflus for getting Caleb Williams to play so exceptionally well. Yeah. I mean, I tell you, I knew it was going to work.
He stuck with it. Just stuck with it.
You got to stick with it. It was just a matter of time. I know when he was the head coach, he couldn't quite figure it out. There was some time management, game management things, but all it took was time. And eventually, you keep grinding. This is a lesson to all the kids out there. You just keep working hard. You keep grinding, and eventually, it's all going to work out. So congratulations to Eberflus and Caleb Williams for figuring it out, because I'm telling you what, Caleb was lights out. Yep. Lights out. Congratulations, man.
Testament to perseverance, right?
Perseverance. It's all about perseverance for everybody in all the Stinkin podcast. We appreciate you being with us. Hey, man, later on this week, I'm going to give you the leftovers from the game against the Raiders and the Washington Commanders. So we'll get that out there as well. kind of wrap that whole game up for all you fans out there who follow the Raiders and follow the Commanders. But for Mike, I am Mark. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. We'll be back with you later on in the week.